Oh baby, a triple Beyblade X unboxing! Let's start off with the Dranzer S 25th Anniversary X Over set. Unfortunately, the packaging is unique to Hasbro's Beyblade X. I say unfortunately because while it's cool, and I would actually like most of Hasbro's regular release Beyblades to be packaged like this, I would have preferred throwback packaging similar to the Takara Tomy release, but emulating the old Hasbro release instead. At least we get the old logo. Pretty cool we get some 25th anniversary indication on the side of the box, but other than that, this seems like a fairly standard Beyblade X box for Hasbro. But let's open it up. Out of the box, we get the three parts to make the Dranzer S Beyblade, a ripcord and baby launcher, as well as a sticker sheet. First up, we get the Dranzer S Blade in an American exclusive red color. I think it's pretty cool, but I do hope we see a regular release of the original color so that people who don't want to import can get it. Competitively, this blade is pretty underweight, being just over 27 grams on average, which is pretty low considering most Beyblades are well over 30 grams. When the blade initially released in Takara Tomy, it was fine since there wasn't much competition. However, nowadays, there's just so many much heavier Beyblades. That being said, I always saw Dranzer S as a Beyblade that performed like a lighter version of Sword Drawn, but with a bit more stamina, which is probably why it's labeled as a balance type blade. That being said, I would only use Dranzer S as an attack type. Putting it on a low 60 height ratchet and an aggressive attack bit was pretty solid at the time of its original release. That being said, some people have been able to make it work, with combos like Dranzer S 960 Rush and Dranzer S on taper or gear flat. So while the weight for Dranzer S is low, you can still make it work. Though you may want to be wary using it on stationary bits like ball or needle. I think at this stage of Beyblade X, the best use for Dranzer S is as an attacker. The ratchet we get is 380, and it looks nice in red. 380 is an okay ratchet. It's good for an 80 height, but most blades prefer the 60 and 70 heights. Though if you had to use an 80 height ratchet, 380 isn't a bad choice. The bit we get is taper, and taper is one of the better aggressive bits available, giving you comparable offensive capabilities to bits like flat, but with a bit more stamina, which means more big hit chances. Out of the box, the only thing I really would change is the ratchet. Putting Dranzer S on a low 60 height ratchet will really help with its offensive capabilities. And if you want, you can swap its bit for other aggressive bits to fit your preference. We also get a baby launcher and ripcord, which is there if you need it, but you definitely want to upgrade to a string or tournament grade winder launcher. Overall, the Dranzer S 380 Taper Anniversary set isn't bad at all. While Dranzer S isn't a meta beast, the fact that it only weighs 27 grams and yet still has a puncher's chance at winning when on an aggressive bit like taper means that Dranzer fans that really want to make this blade work can make use of it. Really, the only downside of this product is the price. It costs more than your typical starter pack, which is probably due to nostalgia reasons. I wouldn't mind for it to lose the launcher and still cost the same as a starter pack, but because it's nearing the price of a dual pack, it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, which is why I got this on sale. If you don't need to have this Beyblade right now, I would recommend waiting for a sale as well. Next, let's take a look at the Beyblade X Mandalorian Collab Multipack. While the rest of the packaging is fairly standard, the The front is pretty cool with its artwork of Mandalorian and Moff Gideon. I actually didn't recognize Moff Gideon because when I think of Moff Gideon, I see Giancarlo Esposito's face. Out of the box, we get the parts for both the Mandalorian and Moff Gideon blades, and 2 Star Wars branded baby launchers. I would have preferred the Mandalorian logo, especially since the Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader multi-pack has the same launchers. First, let's take a look at the Mandalorian Blade. Mando is a much lighter version of Claw Leon. While Claw Leon is usually over 31 grams on average, Mando is lucky to be 30, which is a shame because Mando isn't the first echo of Claw Leon. Steel Samurai is another echo of Claw Leon and has a similar weight to Claw Leon. I have seen some talks that Steel Samurai may even be a bit better than Claw Leon as well. At least Mandalorian isn't too underweight. It may have less defensive capabilities, but Claw Leon always worked better as an aggressive Beyblade anyways, and Mando is described as an attack type blade, so putting Mando on an aggressive bit to make it an attack type is the way. With the blade, we also get the 360 Ratchet, which is a great low height ratchet to have. 360 is the standard when it comes to low height ratchets, and is a great third option to use in a deck when other Beyblades are using the 560 and 960 ratchets. And the bit we get is flat, which is a great attack type bit. This is essentially the baseline attack type bit that other attack type bits are compared to, so it's always good to have copies of it. Out of the box, I think Mandalorian 360 Flat is actually one of the better combos to use for the Mandalorian Blade, especially since it's a lot like Claw Leon. You could swap its bit for another attack type bit to fit your preference. Aside from the weight, I would say my only complaint is that it looks boring, with it just being brown, though I think the plain look kinda fits Mandalorian as a character. Next up is Moff Gideon. I am actually pretty excited for this Beyblade because it's an echo of Scythe Incendio, which is one of my favorite blades in Beyblade X. Unfortunately, it is also a much underweight version of Scythe Incendio, even more underweight than Tusk Mammoth, which already had complaints against it due to its weight and shape. Moff Gideon is a balanced type blade, just like Scythe Incendio, but it isn't as sharp, reminding me of a worn Scythe Incendio instead, so you may want to be careful using it on aggressive bits. I think stationary is the way to go, but it still might work okay on aggressive bits because of its shape being so similar to Scythe Incendio. That being said, the main selling point for me is that I can make a full Hell Scythe Incendio deck with this, Scythe Incendio, and Tusk Mammoth, so that's pretty cool. The ratchet we get is 380 with a nice purple outer part. And the bit we get is Needle. Now I like the Needle bit. It has solid stamina and helps Beyblades take hits. However, it feels like we've been getting a lot of Needle bits lately. I would prefer to see more high needles. Out of the box, Moff Gideon on Needle makes sense, since Scythe Incendio works well on Needle as well. Though the 380 ratchet is probably going to hold it back, so I would make sure to change its ratchet to something on the 60 height range. Overall, I think the Mandalorian multi-pack is neat. I mainly got it because of the Scythe Incendio Echo. I feel like if it didn't have an echo of a cool Beyblade, then I wouldn't have gotten it, especially since multi-packs are on the pricier end due to the launchers they come with bumping up the price. This set does have a bit more collector's value, aside from the collaboration, because it is an exclusive to Toys R Us in Canada, and I believe it's also an exclusive to Target in America. Next, let's take a look at the newest Beyblade to hit the shelves, Silver Wolf. On the front of the box, we have an action shot of Silver Wolf wrecking Shinobi Shadow, which I think makes sense. On the back, we see your typical Beyblade X packaging stuff. The character that uses this blade is Jinro, who is the teacher of Blader X. Out of the box, we get the parts needed to build Silverwolf, and a winder launcher with an exclusive gray ripcord. The Silverwolf blade is a stamina-type unique line blade that is definitely unique, having the first proper gimmick in Beyblade X. That being the free-spinning plastic ring on the bottom of the blade. This helps Silverwolf destabilize opponents, which helps give Silverwolf its spin finish wins. I actually like this approach to Silverwolf. Instead of getting another Wizard Rod, we get something more unique that doesn't replace Wizard Rod, but has its own strengths instead. It also helps that Silverwolf weighs over 36 grams. The great thing about the free spinning ring gimmick is that it seems like Silverwolf is a blade that people actually want to use taller height ratchets on, since having the opponent hit the plastic rings makes them lose their balance. I see stationary bits are currently the go-to for Silverwolf, mainly the ball type bits and Hexa. The ratchet we get is 380, which is a pretty standard ratchet. The bit we get is interesting, Free Ball. It also shares the free spinning gimmick. Unfortunately, when used on Silverwolf, it makes the Beyblade lose its balance, so ball is probably a better choice. However, it's good to get another ball alternative that isn't disc ball. Out of the box, I feel that Silverwolf is a pretty good stamina type Beyblade. I don't think we have seen something like this out of the box since Hellscythe 380 Ball. Now, I would probably swap the free ball bit for something like Ball or Hexa, and I personally would go with the 970 Ratchet. While I don't think Silverwolf is the Wizard Rod killer, I think its destabilization capabilities can give it an edge. Either way, this release is a big win for stationary bladers, and is a great first-time blader purchase as well. There you have it, a triple Beyblade X unboxing. I can't wait to try out these Beyblades in battle, especially Silverwolf. Well, this has been your Canadian Beyblade boy, ZB. If you liked the video, hit the like button, or don't, I'm not the boss of you, but be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get updated whenever I upload. Also, let me know in the comments which Beyblade we looked at today is your favorite. Personally, mine is Silverwolf. Anyways, until next time, see ya.